My name is Richard Braindt, and I'm from Ghana, and I'm the founder of Co-Train. It's a training program which transforms people into professional software developers, and then we match them to companies for employment. There is so much talent in Africa, but there are limited opportunities. And one of the reasons why this is the case is because um, we don't have a lot of people with employable skills. In 2050, youth population is expected to double, and yet we don't provide enough opportunities for our youth in Africa. So I decided to start my company to train people with employable skills in order to solve this problem. I play a lot of role in my business, from carpentry to uh, plumbing to electricity to, I remember we set up a new branch in Kumasi, which is the next biggest city in Ghana. And for a week, I was working with, setting the place up. To be an entrepreneur, you'd have to do everything. Currently, my main job is to think. So I'm mostly about 70% of the time I'm planning, I'm thinking, I'm reading, and I manage my employees. We are 12 at the moment, and I also go to events and also work on partnerships. I also help our students get employed in companies after our training program. So it's what makes my business stand out is our approach. We are in the education space, and the biggest problem in the education space in Africa is it's it's a space where we've been able to increase access to tertiary education, even secondary education. We've been able to improve. Things have improved over the last years. However, as we've expanded, we've not been able to improve the quality. We've not been able to improve what the purpose of education actually stands for. Actually, helping people to become critical thinkers, helping people to gain like employable skills, helping people to innovate, helping people to fulfill their potential. We've not been able to do that, and this is partly because most of the what we have now is based on what was left from our colonial past, which was basically teaching people to become educated ladies and gentlemen. Rather than helping people to actually innovate, to create, giving people the space to become the best at what they have to offer. And if you look at the African continent, when we were kids, we had so much talent. Like, we did our own toys, we built our own cars. We started building kites, like drones, ourselves, and we made everything ourselves. We used broomsticks to do kites. But then we went through an education system, and what happened? All the innovation, all the creativity, all the dreams, everything just withered away. And I think it's time that we look at a different approach, where we can train people to dream. We can train people to use their best abilities. We can train people to become practical and innovative, and that is one thing that Co-Train stands for. So there are so many challenges, becoming an entrepreneur in Ghana. The first comes from the home, because like I mentioned earlier on, education is such that, the success story is for you to finish, high school, go to a very good university, find a job. I mean, that's the highest success story. Find a job, live a better life. Help your parents, help your family. That has been, what we were taught. And that for a long time, that is the kind of success story we put in our young ones, right? So you get a job at a very big company or with the government, or and then you see yourself to be successful. Um, and we've not really looked at other definitions of success for young African youth. So when someone finishes university or they finish school and they decide to start a business, I think the first thing that comes into your family's mind is, I mean, is it getting hard to get a job? Is it because you're not getting a job? Is it for a lack of job? Is it for the lack of opportunities? So entrepreneurship hasn't been really popular with families, your uncles, everybody, because the self-definition doesn't support that. And then you go to the government. I mean, for a long while, it's mainly been a system where you educate people, you get them to get jobs, or the government creates jobs for them, However, we've I think from independent, where in Ghana, for instance, we're about 5-6 million. We are 30 million, for instance. The entire continent is about 1 billion people. I mean, by 2050, it'll be 2 billion. And maybe we have to start thinking about shifting, what success is for young people, to not, to just finishing school and finding a job, because it's not possible now for government to create every opportunity now. It's up to entrepreneurs to create opportunities that can employ not 2-3 people, but I'm thinking of opportunity that can employ like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, like millions of people. I think that's what we need to start thinking now. And so yeah, I think the governments are behind in terms of shifting, the thought process from where they have to create jobs, create opportunities. So it's a lot of burden and work on them. And I think a lot of them have started now, like finding ways to, to create an enabling environment for people to become entrepreneurs, finding programs, starting programs. And I think that is in the right direction. Once they provide the right support, and they create an enabling environment, things are going to get better. You can get like 2 entrepreneurs in Accra like that are providing over 200,000 jobs. That leaves a lot of burden on the government. But as at now, I think we are still in early stages, and I mean, it's still an opportunity for entrepreneurs and the government to find ways to make this happen. Yeah. So I before I started my business, before I started Co-Train, I was mainly doing consulting because I'm a software developer, and I had a team of developers, and we used to work for clients all over the world. So I had some money saved up, and that is what I used in starting Co-Train, my personal funds that I had saved, and I mean, I always knew that I would do something to help society, from my experience growing up. However, I didn't know when or how. But while I was running the consulting company, I had about 20. There was a time I had interns, about 15 or to 20 of them, do internship with me, because they always kept um, you know uh, requesting for internships because it was very difficult to find internships, So I just took them in. But the truth is, I realized they didn't have any skills to contribute or to do much. So I decided to teach them how to code, and teach them not only how to code, but teach them like life lessons and how to work. And they kept on inviting their friends, they kept on inviting their friends, like, come on, friend, join. So that was when I realized that, okay, maybe there could be something in this. So I quit my consulting job. And then with, money that I had saved, I started coaching with. So, I mean, the education space is highly competitive in general. We in our space, coding, there are about 5, 6 players, and then you have the universities as well, teaching some sort of like coding and tech. However, like what we stand for is, quite like different, and so it's always been running, at our own pace, and then, just, working on our milestones. Because our main aim, I mean, the entire education space mainly is about offering certificates, you offer certificates for a course, and then students do them, and then they get a certificates, and they fall into the pool of, into the system. That is, very hard to find opportunities. However, what we are doing is quite like different, so it's more like a different space for us. So what we do is to offer people employable skills, and we train people like they're actually working in a company. They have deliverables. We teach them project management. We teach them soft skills by professionals like HR professionals. We teach them like ethics, essential life skills, because the end goal is to get them, to get them into companies to actually work. So we already have companies that are interested in hiring our students, and so it's a little bit more than just, just teaching them or offering them certificates. It goes into investing in them, matching them to companies, and making sure that they are realizing their dreams. So we tend to do a lot more than just teaching, and sometimes it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit more. There's a little bit more to do. So we've always moved at our own pace, and I mean, we hope that one day, we are going to have campuses all over the continent of Africa. I mean, for anybody that wants to become an entrepreneur, I don't know, any formula, or you know, um, any kind of assured means by which they should, achieve success. But I think it all starts from the reason why, they are doing what they are doing. I think once, they get their reasons right, once they get their why right, everything falls in place. The rest is just like trying things and failing, and learning from them, and like doing something else, and because the why is still, solid, and it's there. Um, but apart from that, it's mainly, from my experience, what I've seen with most people that want to become entrepreneurs is, they, I mean, it's very simple. It's about finding a problem and finding a solution to it, right? But the solution should have a market. You should focus on your market. What do my market need? If I have 10 clients, and what would they need? How much can I make from them? Can I scale it up to like 100 clients? If I have 100 clients, then they are paying me $100 a month. You're looking at $10,000 a month. But what can I provide them to to achieve that? And I feel that most new entrepreneurs ignore that. And the biggest problem I find with this is focus. Once you lose focus on what exactly are the things that you need to do to succeed, then it becomes a problem. And one of the biggest ways to lose focus is to seek external validation. You know, if you are an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur. Like, you don't need to be friends with me. You don't need to be friends with you don't need to be everywhere. You don't. You just need to provide, like, provide a service to your customers. And provide, improve your service. You need to focus on your business. You don't have to do 5 businesses at the same time. Just having one is very stressful enough. You don't have to be greedy. In terms of, like, with business ideas and with things. You need to dedicate your life to achieving a particular thing. And then, once you find, how you can navigate to get your destination, you just follow through the path. And then you navigate your way through. And also, it's not all the time that you have all the answers. Honestly, I've really benefited from mentoring. It's good to have maybe 1 or 2 people that have a lot of experience and are genuinely, they genuinely believe in what you want to do, and they can actually genuinely help you. Not tell you what to do, but to, give you direction and to help you sometimes withstand some of the hardships that come with the decisions that you make. And once you have, like, some mentors, then you have, like, a clear path to how you want to achieve your dreams. The rest is just finding the pieces of the puzzle that makes it work. For instance, if you need to go to a conference to, like, partner with some people, you go to the conference and partner with, people, or, find potential partners, and then you come back and work on your idea. You don't need to go, you need to use your time very well, manage your time very well, and then focus on what the particular thing you want to do. If it's not working, you can twist it a bit based on what the market needs, or you can, pivot, or you can change what you are working on. But focusing on one thing at a time usually ensures that you can, it increases your chance of being successful. The truth is, being an entrepreneur is very brutal, and sometimes, I'm sure most of us can relate to this. Like, most of our parents, a lot of people didn't come from, entrepreneur homes, or homes where some of our mothers and some of our parents actually did some trading, or and selling the market or having a shop. However, like, building a company is a little bit more different than just, like, running a mom and pop shop. And also, like, being a government worker or just working is quite different. So, the first thing is, like, with my experience, with my family, with people around me and everything, like, people don't know the price of, building, like, $1 billion company, or building, like, a highly valuable company that can hire about 100,000, 50,000 people in the future. And it takes a little bit, more. So, it's already very complicated. And I wouldn't feel comfortable adding maybe, my significant other into, this whole space. I would prefer to go home and, um, you know I see home as a place where I can escape from all the noise in the business world. So yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Yeah, I think this is a great way to share stories, because I had one of my friends. He I think he was in He did his MBA in the States, and he got an internship with one of the financial institutions in Ghana. It was a savings and loans company. So I met him when he came from the airport because my office was just beside the airport. And he was so excited about how, um, you know, he's finished his MBA and he's coming to, do internship in Africa, and he's excited about, Africa and everything. Um, and by the time he was leaving, I mean, what he realized was that doing an MBA, or everything about business, like you learn from school. Once you come to the African terrain, like, you have to throw everything away. It's a new learning process on its own, and I feel that it's something that a platform like this could help educate people, especially other young people, about what it actually means to do business, and what it actually means to start like companies, you know things that they can relate to outside the various textbooks. Yeah, so I feel that this could be a huge like educative platform that can provide our youth with like that MBA they need to be successful locally in Africa. And one of the things that we've really failed to do is to share success stories, like to share stories about how we made things. Because the truth is, like, I have a very big vision. I mean, that is like fine-tune our educational, the way we educate people so that they can achieve their potential. Sharing my story and, putting that into the heads of like other young people can inspire them to even think even beyond that. And maybe there could even be something huge and bigger than culture in the future. Um, so I think this is very, very important. I mean, it's something that has to be done. Yeah, so it's really great that you are doing this. One thing that I learned working with African youth, especially in training them and helping them achieve their dreams, is the fact that because economic situations haven't been um, the best and opportunities are hard to come by, we are, sometimes losing out on the most important thing, which is, the ability of, our young people to dream and to aim high, um, instead of just, waiting to just, finish an education and get opportunities. But how about, what they want to achieve? How about the big dreams that they had, when they were kids? And I feel that that is really missing, and we need to create spaces where they can actually dream, where they can actually fulfill their potential, where they can actually like achieve all the things that they want to achieve. And I think 8 months ago, we had a student at Cochrane. He flew in from Gambia. He got to the airport. We picked him from the airport, and he told us his dream is to become a software developer. And so that is why he came all the way to get a code training education. Um, 8 months down the line, I think last month he completed a training program, and he 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 is now a software developer. He's now like a web developer, and he worked with a company in Ghana here to build the application for them, and he's been able to achieve his dream. The last time I spoke to him, he's gotten a job in Thailand. He's joining a development team in Thailand, and he'll be going there this month. So this is an example of someone, having a dream and then, fulfilling, his dream. When he came, he was just a normal young person that is, um, inquisitive and excited about technology, coding, but then we transformed him into a professional. So one of the things that most people that are interested in becoming software developers can do is they can reach out to us if you want to become, a software developer, and not just learn to code, but become a professional, so that you can maybe even start your own app, or you could find opportunities to get a better life, and fulfill your dreams. You can reach out to us in Ghana. Or if you're outside the country, you can go to codetraingh.com, or you can just Google CodeTrain, and then you can find our website. We have 2 locations in Accra and Kumasi in Ghana. So if you're in Ghana, easier for you, you can just reach out to us on our website, codetraingh.com, and we can work together to make sure that your dreams come true.